What's up, everybody? I hope you all had a great holiday break, but with what's going on in Azeroth right now, we need to talk some WoW Classic. Bonus XP starts now. What's up, everybody? I know it's been a while. Before we get into today's video, I want to take a quick moment to say thank you to the community. We appreciate everyone who subbed. We appreciate everyone who's taking time to watch our videos, comment on them, and interact with each other. I think it's awesome. We've only been at this a couple of months and things are going really well, and we really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for hitting that like button. And we really appreciate each and every one of you. So today we want to get back into Classic WoW and we're going to talk about how you can enjoy the game as a casual and what kind of commitment level you really need to have in Classic to have fun. And finally, I want to talk about the current state of the servers from my perspective. But first, if you do enjoy our videos and you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe and also hit that like key. It helps us immensely with YouTube's algorithm and discovery, and we really appreciate everyone who has. So let's dive right in. All right, let's go back to the launch time back in August. I want to take everybody back to this crazy time where we had this euphoric sense of anticipation for WoW Classic. We all logged in a couple weeks early. We reserved our names. We dove right into what was going to be the greatest addition to WoW since the subtraction of Classic was years ago. And so we need to get back to the point where we're all highly anticipating this. Take yourself back to that emotion, that feeling that you are ready to go. And you dived in, you logged in, you started playing the game. You leveled, you got through the first couple of months, and you got to 60. And before Phase 2 came out, you were starting to work on professions, you were starting to build guilds, build friendships, maybe running a few Molten Core and Onyxia runs with your guilds. A lot of guilds didn't have or weren't large enough to have full raid teams, but were readily available to pug inside the major capital cities, and things were relatively stable. The servers were good, people were generally enjoying the game, and nobody was really crying out for any kind of server faction imbalance. Too bad on PvP servers. Then Phase 2 comes around, and Blizzard makes a huge tactical error. They put the original PvP system into the game the way that it was back in the original with the original vanilla setting. However, what they didn't take into account is that we know so much more about the game now. So they put the original PvP system in without any real checks and balances or ways to grind honor other than just griefing your fellow player. Now we have other videos about that. I encourage you to go check them out. I did a couple of videos on Phase 2 and the anticipation of Phase 2.5 and why I think Blizzard put Battlegrounds into the game quicker than they had originally planned. We go over all of that, and it's generally kind of agreed upon that Blizzard was seeing a lot of people just quit the game. So now we get into Phase 2.5 and Battlegrounds are in the game, and this is kind of where we've been for the last couple of weeks. Now I don't know what's been going on your server, but on our server on Thunder Fury, we've just seen a lot of people quit, and the general server population has really dried up, and the people that are playing are not doing PvE content. They're doing Alterac Valley and they're doing Warsaw Gulch over and over and over again. And that's fun, but it makes for kind of a one-sided experience when you get to max level. You still, in WoW Classic, unlike the retail version of the game, there are no catch-up mechanisms or abilities to skip different levels of gear progression. So you still level to 60, you ding 60, you still have to go through your progression of getting your different best in slot items in order to do whatever the current level of content is. So for example, right now we're looking at Phase 3 coming out in a few weeks, is what everyone is speculating. And so that's going to release a new raid. But in order to do this new raid, you're going to have done the old raids, multiple old level dungeons, and probably have a group of friends of at least 20 to 25 people that you can work with on a regular basis. Otherwise, you really have no chance of actually doing it. Now, there are some large guilds in Classic that are working through, but with a lot of the streamers and a lot of the general euphoria for Classic really having died down, and the casual gamer base really gotten slaughtered in Phase 2.0, and I mean that literally slaughtered, that whole situation has completely caused a lot of people to just leave the game. Now, I don't know if it's because of the time of year, but generally speaking, over a holiday break, people have some off time in between family times, in between all those things. You have some time to play the game, and I don't think the WoW Classic numbers were very good for this particular break in time, and I'm trying to figure out why that is. I have some theories, I'd like to share them with you today, but I really am curious what you guys are experiencing on your servers, and why you think the population has gotten larger or smaller, and where you think that it can go from here. So go ahead, leave a comment below, pause the video, leave a comment below about that right now, and let's keep going. Now, if you're actually one of the like 0.0001% of people that did that, I thank you very much. Let's look at where we are right now and what you actually have to do in Classic WoW. How much time do you actually have to put in to have a good time? Do you need to actually be a hardcore player to get any kind of long-term enjoyment out of Classic? I think that the reason why a lot of people are at least stagnant or quitting is because, first of all, the game was really designed to be played in a continual basis. It's not like retail where you can dive in and dive out and have some kind of catch-up mechanic, which we've just touched upon. What it is designed to do is be a long but kind of slow but paced grind. And I think what's happening right now is that paced grind is leading to a lot of people getting to a spot where they're like, okay, I'm looking at investing a bunch of time now. What do I really want to do with that time? So you have to make a choice when you get to level 60. Do you want to start to go after the gear treadmill and really try to get your best in slot? Try to become that raider that those top tier guilds will either invite to their raid team, invite to the guild, or be a reliable pug, which in that case, you're really only going to be a reliable, maybe swap out for someone who's on their main team. That's a lot of effort to get to that point. Or do you want to simply enjoy the game? And I want to make the point that you can actually play WoW casually and simply just enjoy the game. There's a whole lot more to Classic WoW than just getting to max level and trying to raid. There's plenty of alts to do, there's plenty of profession management to do, there's plenty of interesting quests and side things to do in the game. It's quite robust. Now, if that's not fun to you, then go ahead, chase the gear treadmill, go for your best in slot. That's definitely a valid way to play the game. But if that's not a playstyle that you really enjoy, or you don't find that relaxing, there is so much more stuff to do. And I wish there was a way that we could communicate all the different things that you can do instead of just chasing the best in slot items for your character. There is so much more to WoW that can be done with just gear that is acquired from doing 5-man dungeons. You don't have to have molten core gear to go out in the world and have a good time. You can do PvP if you're into PvP, and actually for the casual player, gear progression is probably going to happen faster with PvP because it's something that is, one, queuable, and number two, just takes less people to organize. You just need 10 people to play Warsong Gulch. And with Alterac Valley, you can queue in, which you can queue into Warsong Gulch too, but you can literally queue in. So you're just going to get that gear faster based upon how the PvP system works. I think realistically, there's going to be a number of different types of people that are going to stay with Classic WoW for the long haul. I don't know necessarily if the hardcore private server grind your best in slot or quit playing crowd is going to be the crowd that actually sticks with it. I have a feeling that they're not, because as soon as you take a break and miss a phase, you pretty much have to catch up, and there's not going to be enough people to catch up. I think Classic WoW is actually going to turn into a kind of a cool niche community of people who never tried WoW at all, but have played other MMOs, and people who have that nostalgic feeling of WoW from 15 years ago when the game was released. Now, I don't think in general that WoW is necessarily going to attract the same level of people in the long run that it has attracted for the launch period. The first 4 months of Classic WoW were a wonderful time. It was literally a point in time in which there was a sense of nostalgia and a sense of gaming that you just can't really capture again. So many people experienced the same kind of feeling of euphoria that they had by going back in time and allowing themselves to re-experience the game that they really enjoy playing through the same lens and eyes that they did when they were younger. And you really can't replace that. And so I think it's super important to know that that is just never going to be the same again. So where do we go from here with Classic? And I think realistically, I think that you're going to have to find the happy balance between PvP and enjoying the open world and questing, doing reputation, different grinds, those kinds of things, you're going to have to find some kind of level of enjoyment with that, including professions, and get into that. I don't necessarily think that there's going to be enough top tier players on every server to have raid teams that are going to be fully rostered. There will be some pugs, and yes, server transfers are available. And let's be honest, there probably will be some server consolidation at some point because it just is what it is. But I think that we need to try to figure out a way to enjoy the game more than just the 1% of the 1% on YouTube wants us to. And what I mean by that is you don't have to rush your best in slot. You can play the game and enjoy leveling at a slow pace and just enjoy it for what it is, a relaxing video game. So that's pretty much all I had to say about that. I'm really interested in what you think. Comment below. Let's talk about it. I'm really curious to know what's going on in your server. What's going on in your guild? How are your communities reacting to the change in population? Let's talk about it. Maybe, who knows, maybe you're on a dead server and you need to find a live server and someone can point you in the right direction. Maybe you're on a live server and you want to say, hey, come play with us because we've got a lot going on and it was really fun. So with that being said, I'm going to end it right here. Thank you everyone for watching, and I want to say once again, thank you to the community. We appreciate all the interaction. We appreciate all the subs. It's been an awesome couple of months, and we look forward to a impactful and a really busy 2020 making content for you.